Hearings kicked off last night on San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer's proposed $3.2 billion budget. Residents asked that more money be devoted to parks and the arts. And some policy analysts say the spending plan contains a fairness deficit. Joining me are Taryn Mento, KPBS Metro reporter, and Kira Green, researcher and policy analyst with the Center on Policy Initiatives, a San Diego nonprofit policy development center. Taryn, let's start with you. You've covered this budget process extensively. What are some of the highlights of next year's proposed budget?
Well, what the mayor's really been focusing on in this budget is infrastructure and restoring city services. So this year he was proposing funding for hundreds of miles of paving of more streets, repairing some street lights, more park maintenance, playground equipment, but also restoring city services, meaning expanding recreation center hours and more resources toward the police and fire rescue departments.
Now, you also attended last night's budget hearing. What do San Diegans want to see get funded in the upcoming year?
Well, overall, it was really libraries and parks, individual ones, some libraries in San Isidro, and I believe even Ocean Beach was mentioned, and then also a lifeguard station in Ocean Beach. So it was very specifics related to those kinds of areas and individual communities.
Now, Kira, how do San Diego's poor neighborhoods fare in this budget?
So San Diego's poor neighborhoods will not get their needs met fully in this budget. And the reason for that is that in many places in the budget where there are decisions to be made about spending, the mayor's proposal is to spend sort of equally in all council districts. And the problem is that with the Community Budget Alliance, we look at the issue that underserved neighborhoods tend to be concentrated south of the 8, and they have infrastructure deficits. So they need more funding than other communities in order to bring those communities to an equal level.
Because for years, those areas have been ignored.
That's absolutely right.
So tell me specifically, what are some of the needs in the poor neighborhoods south of the 8?
Some of the most significant needs are around parks. There's a lack of public space for people, and these are health concerns. Kids need a place to exercise, family need a place to gather. There are also concerns around library space. Many people in poor neighborhoods rely on libraries for a place to go for cooling in the summertime or when it's hot. They also use it for books, their primary source of books, and internet access. And many of the libraries are too small and have inadequate hours. The same is true for rec centers, and streets are in very bad condition throughout these neighborhoods.
And how much do constituents in these areas participate in the process? For example, attending a budget hearing, a public hearing such as occurred last night?
Well, I think last night they came out in force and were really well represented. But I do want to highlight that it is very challenging for people in these neighborhoods. I mean, they're working a lot of hours to make ends meet, and budget hearings tend to take place during the day when people have to be at work. And so the evening hearing is an important opportunity, but it's still challenging. People still need childcare and transportation to make it to these meetings, and they have to get up early the next morning and go to work.
Now, are there parts of this budget that you like?
Absolutely. I think that not just myself, but the Community Budget Alliance as a whole, we're happy to see the mayor really making a commitment to neighborhood services, to vital infrastructure in these places. It's really about tweaking how we allocate things and coming up with a long-range plan for funding more of them, rather than a sort of wholesale disagreement with this budget.
Now, Taryn, in the past, Councilman David Alvarez has said that typically budgets ignore areas south of the 8. What does he think of this proposed budget?
Well, just before the meeting last night, actually, he had a news conference where he was trying to drum up, express more support for dedicating more funds toward things like libraries and parks and the arts and things that are specific in his community. But overall, he did say that he's very pleased with what the mayor, where the mayor has put some of the taxpayer money. But he would like to see when the May revised budget comes out, we might see a little bit more money, and he would like to see those things dedicated to some of the libraries and parks and the arts that we spoke of before.
And what stage of the budget process are we in right now?
Well, coming up next, the mayor will come back later this month with his revised budget. The council will take some of the comments that were made at the budget hearing, and they will pass them along to the IBA. She'll gather them and put them into a format for the mayor's consideration. Until then, people can call up their council member and tweet them or Facebook them with any of their concerns, but they will get a chance to, again, speak their mind when the council takes it up. I believe on May 21st, the council will take up the revised budget.
Taryn Mento, Kira Green, thanks so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.